Find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary with you. What's up, Rico?
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great.
Anything exciting happening in your life?
No.
Okay.
Not pretty boring.
You've been able to play 2K recently?
Very little, but
Okay.
kind of. Yeah, for the most
I knew that was a big thing that you wanted before Scott Frost got fired, and then
Yeah, thanks a lot, Scott.
Scott Frost got fired, and you didn't get to play a whole
No.
lot. So
Busy with work.
that is true.
Thanks, Scott.
And then Eric Shander got the can as well.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Eric. As always, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Sutter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Sutter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Make sure you incorporate yourself into the show that way as well. Got plenty of stuff to get to. Some really fascinating Mickey Joseph bites today. I know probably you and Bach played some during the water cooler.
Just a few.
But there's some fascinating ones that Mickey Joseph said. Obviously, some breaking news. A.J. Allen is out for the year.
Sad.
He had surgery yesterday on an undisclosed injury, so Nebraska will have to go forward without A.J. Allen. And if you look at this running back room, maybe you see Anthony Grant that's been able to carry the rock for over 100 yards in all but one of your games, so 3 of your 4 games. You see then the guys behind him. A.J. Allen was kind of that 1-2 punch that Nebraska was looking for, and now he's gone. So you have to figure out a way to either, whether it's Jaquez Yant, whether it's Gabe Ervin.
Mickey did say Gabe Ervin.
He did say Gabe Ervin.
By name, the only one he mentioned by name.
That is true. So we'll see kind of where Nebraska goes. But the good news is they have a bye week. And this week, this bye week came at a great time, as Mickey Joseph absolutely said that it came at a great time because of, how Nebraska's just they're beaten down. He mentioned multiple times that the guys are 20-year-old kids who are emotional right now after getting a change in coaching staff. They have lost a lot of games, not just this year, but in recent years as well. And it's just one of those things where bye week came at a good time, kind of take a step back, regroup, and kind of recalibrate, get everybody on the same page.
Send some coaches on the road, maybe meet with some of the commits or some recruits that you're trying to get to commit.
There's comfort, I think, maybe not comfort, but there's an interesting amount of curiosity and maybe comfort surrounding that Nebraska can win a couple games coming out of the bye week. They've struggled here, obviously. I don't need to be the one to tell you guys that. They have struggled here these last couple weeks, not only with coaches, but also with just winning football games, right? And that's the main driver in college athletics. But they've struggled, and we'll see if they're able to kind of regroup, have a different look to them, have a different feel around the program. Mickey Joseph, when asked, what have you learned in your first week as kind of the head coach here? He's learning a lot. And he mentioned that he's some of the mistakes that maybe he made in the Oklahoma game were because of his lack of head coaching experience. And I think that's very admirable. Do you have a clip to play?
I do.
Okay.
Some things you've learned so far as the interim head coach.
There you go.
No, that is things I need to fix, is things I need to focus on, and I can't assume anything. That everything from A to Z, I got to make sure that I cross every T, dot every I. I learned a lot from that first game, but it was a quick turnaround for me. But it's no excuse. I got to handle that better than that. Like I said before, I walked up to that mic and I said, "It's on me." It's not on my kids. It's not on my coaches. That was on me.
I will say this. I think it's very refreshing to hear Mickey Joseph right now. Extremely refreshing to hear Mickey Joseph speak right now. Nebraska was in a situation prior to the coaching changes where we heard the same voice over and over, and it's okay to hear the same voice over and over and over again if the words carry weight, the words carry truth, and you're winning football games. And now we can sit back here and argue that maybe one of those three things were happening, and I think it was probably the middle one where it was Scott Frost was telling us the truth, just maybe not to the extent of what Mickey Joseph is. I think you're interested here, Rico, in some of the questions that the media asks Mickey Joseph compared to Scott Frost. And I was just telling Nathan this back when you guys were doing your show. You can notice there's been a lot of stuff on Twitter about how the media is asking a lot of hard questions to Mickey Joseph and how a lot more detail-specific questions are getting asked to Mickey Joseph. Mm-hmm. And they're saying it in a bad way, but I would honestly say it in the opposite way, in meaning that Mickey Joseph will answer a details-oriented question with a detail-specific answer.
Yeah,
he's not shining away.
When you would ask Scott
not
Frost
shying away, excuse me.
When you would ask Scott Frost those questions, he either didn't answer the question or would give you some type of vague, answer veiled in secrecy. Whereas Mickey Joseph is being truthful, and he's giving you everything that he can to a certain extent, and not trying to hide behind anything. The questions are different. The questions being asked to Mickey Joseph are different from the questions that were asked to the previous head coach. But in a way, the way that Mickey Joseph answers them is, as you said, it's refreshing. It's good to hear, and
it's good to hear details.
It feels as if he's not trying to hide anything.
Transparency.
And even the stuff that he even mentioned, he said, I don't want to give, when asked about the defensive situation and what Bill Busch is planning on doing, he said, he's going to do this because I trust him and what he wants to do, but I don't want to give too much away because this is a new defensive unit.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
There are reasons that, we always say the cliche phrase of method to the madness, right? And there is literally, reasons on, and Mickey Joseph is backing it up with his answers on why he's operating a specific way. Now, before we get the texters and the tweeters coming at us saying, well, you guys don't deserve to know and all that. And we don't, it's not like we deserve to know all the little intricacies about the program, but it makes it more enjoyable to discuss on a daily basis. Number one, it makes it easier to talk about all the good things that are happening, all the good changes that are happening within the program when we find out little details. And that's what we're doing. And it's not just us finding it out. It's you guys listening on Twitter and listening to the clips that we play, learning more, just educating yourself more about the fan base, about the program and how they're operating on a day-to-day basis, which is, we went 4.5 years with not really learning a whole lot, right?
I mean, he gave us it's very short, but this is what they're going to do during the bye week.
We'll go tomorrow. We'll lift Thursday. They'll be off Friday, Saturday. Be back in on Sunday.
There we go.
That's all we need to know. And now, once again, this is not a knock on Scott Frost, because if you've been paying attention to Nebraska media and just kind of press conferences in the last 20 years or so, you have or I guess it'd be 15. Bo Pelini was short with the media and kind of got straight to the point. Mike Riley was at times a little more flamboyant, long-winded, wanted to give you too much information.
He gave you everything. That was Mike Riley.
But in an old man tone where which is, once again, that's just basically what I'm trying to get to.
It's like when you ask your grandpa.
Coaches have different ways of handling the media.
Yeah.
And it goes back to this entire thing of right after Scott Frost got fired, one of the things I said, and I think a couple of us said on the station, was Scott Frost, nobody to this day is questioning his football IQ or his knowledge of the game. It was the way he presented himself to the media, the things he said in those press conferences. And to be honest, Rico, that is your shot when you are a football coach that has a 15-29 record going into the season, or whatever the record was, 16-31 at the time of him getting fired. Those press conferences, other than Saturdays, are your chance to prove to the fan base and to the people that speak about your program on a daily basis, prove to them that you know what you're doing and you got this thing going in the right direction, right? And that's where sometimes we would sit back here after press conferences and go, I mean, what are we supposed to take away from this? It's the same thing we heard last week. Prove to us, show us, tell us that you're moving in a different direction, or at least you're moving and not just stuck in the mud. And that was what's frustrating at times. So 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys the entire show today. There's a couple long texts on here, and I don't want to just start reading them until I read them, first and proofread them to make sure you guys aren't being facetious. But
I can read Qdoba, guys.
Okay, go ahead.
He's kind of upset at the AJ Allen injury. He said AJ getting hurt is a perfect example as to why we suck at developing players, which I don't understand. We have all these running backs we gathered over the years, and yet they want to play the new shiny toy who ends up getting hurt. This is the Big Ten. Freshman running backs should very rarely see the field on Saturdays. And I know it's a crazy thought, but Ramir Johnson and company will never get any better if they don't play in games. Now, I disagree with all of everything until the last sentence. They won't get any better unless they get to playing games. But AJ Allen getting hurt is not the perfect example as to why they suck at developing players. AJ Allen came in ready to play. Look, if you're at a skill position like running back or wide receiver, a freshman is more ready to make an impact at this level than at an offensive line or a defensive line spot. If you have the moves, if you have the skills, you can see the field. And AJ Allen definitely had the skills, as you saw in those games that he was the numbers he was putting up in the games that he was playing. He had the skills. He was better than the other running backs. That's all there is to it. There isn't some underlying message here about, the development of players can only start if they sit their freshman year. There's none of that. Just because you don't sit your freshman year doesn't mean you're not going to get developed. You could get developed, as you said. Ramir and them won't get better unless they see the field. AJ Allen was getting better because he was on the field. It's just a thing. He was better than the running backs. He saw the field.
Well, I think there is some truth to maybe both sides of that. There's just also freak athletes.
Yeah, Waterboy says
right.
Braylon Allen was 17.
Yeah, freak athletes. Right. Braylon Allen's the first one that comes to your mind because he kind of ran
Travion
all
Henderson
over.
Started as a freshman.
You're right.
At Ohio State. Granted, he was a 5-star coming out of Virginia, but still a freshman starting at Ohio State.
That's where those freak athletes, I think, come in, Rico. Now, Mickey Joseph did say something along the lines today of looking back on this game. Tempo's been a big discussion point with Mickey this last week or so after Oklahoma. And something that was interesting that Mickey Joseph said is, looking back on the game, what was a couple things that he would have done differently? And he said, get the younger players in the game sooner, which I thought was interesting because a lot of the times when you get younger guys into the game, it will show it'll portray some I don't want to say quit, but just kind of folding, waving the white flag saying, listen, we understand you're going to beat us today, but it's time just to get the reserves in, preserved from injury. He mentioned get the younger guys in sooner so that they could have film and see how they do against real competition. And that is, I think, developing, right? And that's where your point comes in, Rico, getting the guys on the field and getting them game reps. Because as we know, Nebraska's practices may not have been the most physically demanding as we may have believed under previous staffs. Now, I think they are. I saw, I'll be honest, walking out of the press conference and walking out of Memorial Stadium today, I saw a couple of Nebraska starting defenders limping. And not like injured limping, but sore limping. So, I don't know if that means physically demanding practice or out of shape, but I would honestly go from everything and how we know Mickey Joseph operates. I think practices have gotten a lot more physically demanding over this last week and a half. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't, because that is what we were told was going on. And if you think about this, we were being told everything that we thought was going on in behind the scenes. So we believed it. And then we were sitting here going, why isn't it working? There's a disconnect here. What is going on? And now come to find out, Mickey Joseph is learning. And I will say this, Rico, it's unfair, in my opinion, it's too bad. Like I'm glad Mickey Joseph's getting this opportunity because we know how he's going to take it by the horns and run with it, right? And do everything in his power to turn this thing around. It's too bad that he's dealt it this way and in the shape that the program is in.
Yeah, you wish that Mickey Joseph got a shot at being a head coach at his alma mater in a better situation. I mean, I don't know how much better of a situation you can take over a job. Usually if you're taking over, either the person is leaving because they're leaving it in a great situation because they're going on to bigger and better things, or the person got fired because it's not a good situation.
But like,
it's really hard to come into a good situation like this. But currently the way that Nebraska is set up, this is possibly the worst situation to come into as a not first time, because he's been a head coach before, but a first time head coach at a Power 5.
I would say at this level or anything close to this level. Now, this is not us pitying Mickey Joseph, right? Because he's not going to sit here and
he's a competitor.
He's not going to allow us to pity him, right? And he's also not going to try to get people to feel bad for him. But like I sat back the last couple of days thinking about Nebraska's coaching search, the future, having conversations obviously with Rico every day and all the guys around here. I sit back and I think to myself, in Nebraska's next head coach, what kind of coach fits what Nebraska needs right now as a program? And it's hard. Like, it's too bad that it's in the position that it's in right now, because I think how fragile and how much they've lost, you need a proven guy. And if Mickey doesn't get this turned around this season,
I mean, that's virtually impossible.
Exactly. And so that's where I feel my soul hurts for Mickey. Because it's not that I don't think he can do it, but it's if you're Trev Alberts here, does this make sense, Rico? Like,
no, it does.
Like,
But
I want Mickey Joseph.
Yeah, but my thing is, if he can get things moving in the right direction, maybe he doesn't win, 6 games with this remaining schedule. I mean, the last 4 games are going to be a beast.
They are
for anybody. For Scott Frost, if he stayed, for Mickey Joseph now taking over,
exactly,
it'd be a beast for anybody. So those last 4 games are going to be virtually impossible. Granted, they're all competitors. They're not going to go in there and say, "Oh, we're not going to win." They're going to believe that they can win, and more props to them. I hope that they can win those games. But to base his chances at getting the head coaching job off of wins and losses with the hand he's been dealt is pretty much saying he's not going to be the head coach. That's pretty much, if you're going to base it off of he needs to win X amount of games, you are pretty much saying he is not going to be the head coach.
I'm not sure you're basing it off of wins and losses necessarily. I think you're basing it off of performance, though. I think it's okay to base,
and if they perform well, but they don't win games. If they perform well and they still lose however many games, let's say they win 4 more games this season, they're sitting at 5 wins for the season, and they performed well in every other game, does that give him a good chance to be the next head coach at Nebraska, or is it still not enough to compete with the likes of if he wants the job, and Urban Meyer or anybody else?
Enter coach name.
Coach name.
Well, and so that's where I think my whole point to this discussion is, I'm thankful I'm not Trev Alberts, because that's a very slippery slope to have to deal with.
Because of Mickey Joseph, like he could, with the way that we hear players talk about him and coaches talk about him, he could get the entire buy-in of the roster, the entire buy-in of the coaching staff,
recruiting,
and the recruits could love him. It brings in a good recruiting class for being an interim head coach. Do you look at all of that and look at, maybe some more relationships that he's building with recruits later on down the line, maybe at 2024? Because like he said, they're recruiting. They're going to continue to recruit like they are going to be here.
They should.
They're not going to throw it away and just be like, well, we're only here for a season, so let's maybe recruit for now. No, they're recruiting however many years down the line that you can recruit. I don't know the NCAA rule about that, but they're recruiting whoever they're going to recruit like they're going to be here next year and for the years following. So if they can build a reputation, a relationship with some recruits, and maybe you're sitting in the living rooms of some high profile people, that should be another, notch on Mickey's belt to become the next head coach at Nebraska. And I know people want, you can't mess up this hire. You have to get this right this time. Nebraska's messed up so many hires before. If they don't get this right, the football program is doomed. The football program will be fine. It will. If they mess up this hire, it won't look great, but you'll be fine. You're still going to have football. You're still going to play football. You're still going to get money from the TV, from the Big Ten and all that stuff. You're going to be just fine. You're just going to have to find another coach later on down the line if it doesn't work out. But and look, I'm not, I know whoever might text in, oh, you're all in on Mickey Joseph. I think Mickey Joseph is a great coach, a great recruiter, a great receiver, whatever you want him to, coach, whatever. I think he'd be great at it. I think there are other coaches out there that could also be great head coaches in Nebraska. But I think given the situation that he's in, it sucks. And I think he should be given more leeway to have a shot at becoming the head coach.
Well, I think, Rico, this is his shot. Right. This is if they would have fired Scott Frost after week 7 or after the buyout, then you could have that argument, I think. But I truly believe that this is, I don't want to say a substantial shot. I just think it's a crappy crappy hand that he's being dealt with.
Yeah.
Because of the position that the program is in. The program as a whole, when you stack up years and years and years of losing, that's where it's at, I think. Because this from a program standpoint, this goes back farther than Scott Frost in terms of losing games and not competing for division championships. Couple things I want to get to before we get to break. Somebody said on the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, shouldn't it be win or move on no matter the deck dealt to you? Why do we want to have done for 5 years, close but no cigar? We want winners, darn it. And that's my kind of point, is how long are you willing to wait again? Because you went down the road of hot shot assistant turned very young head coach and into making him your permanent coach. It didn't work. You went the old route, or the experienced route. Maybe that's the better way to say experienced route. And that did not work. And so that's where it's like if you're Trev Alberts, you're in a very sticky situation and a very delicate situation because you have a fan base that's starving to win, is as loyal as they come. And now the fan base, as I said on Monday morning, the fan base is getting tested more than it's ever been tested before. And they're still showing up. But it's kind of crazy to think about. It's kind of wild. Unnamed texter on the text line says, you two need a nap. The disconnect in coaching expectations from last week to this week is pretty funny. Last week, you guys said Mickey had this ship turned around enough to beat Oklahoma. This week, it's virtually impossible to turn it around this year.
I don't think we said that he had the ship turned around enough to beat Oklahoma. We said the feeling around the program felt like they could.
I also believe that we are learning more and more about where this program stands each day that Mickey Joseph is the interim head coach. Or a better way to say that, we are learning more and more about where this program is at now that Scott Frost is not the head coach. That's where I'll leave it at that. Tyler said this, we already lost our highest rated recruit and Mickey is still here. Obviously speaking about Cameron Lenhart. And I think that would speak more about, that's an interesting situation.
Cameron Lenhart did say his recruitment is 100% open, so there is a chance that he could come back to Nebraska. But his main recruiter was Eric Chenander.
It was Eric Chenander, and I would also I'll throw this name out there, Rico. I'll throw this name out there, Rico. Ashley Williams Jr. is a guy that decommitted from Nebraska and went to Auburn, and we know that this staff was high on him. But unfortunately, he chose to decommit. So maybe they go after him one more time here. They have Maverick Noonan in the class, but maybe they go after a guy like Ashley Williams one more time.
He's from Louisiana. Mickey said he was going to be in Louisiana doing some recruiting work.
So,
granted, there's a lot of recruits in Louisiana, so that really doesn't mean anything. But you never know.
Yeah, this is interesting. Mr. Unlimited asks how many tickets are left for Indiana, or do we have any news on that?
No
I have
idea.
not heard. I know it's not a sellout.
Not yet, because nobody said anything.
Yeah. So, all right. When we come back, we'll dive in. We'll finish up this conversation because I think you guys have a lot of questions and thoughts on the text line. I want to make sure we get to them. But let's go ahead and take a timeout. When we come back, we'll finish up this conversation as well as dive into some sweet things by Marcy because it is a Tuesday.
Woohoo!
So guess what? We get to eat food and you guys get to hear what we're eating. Not physically, but we'll tell you.
You can see it if you go to the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter.
So we'll do all that coming up next. You're listening to the Happy Hour on the Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Warhorse Casino is looking for trailblazers for every department: food and beverage servers, environmental services, cage cashiering, revenue auditor, IT, and more. Find your winning opportunity at our job fair, Tuesday, September 27th from 3 to 7 at the Lincoln Warhorse Gaming Office, 3730 South 14th Street. Every employee is treated like family, and every role is essential in creating a one-of-a-kind experience. For information on openings and job fairs, go to warhorsecasino.com.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance to make your project go smoothly. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online at deckcityne.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and things are cooking in Louisville. Right now, our pre-owned sales are off the charts, and we have loaded up the lots full of inventory. We've got a great supply of Sierras, Silverados, Tahoes, Yukons, and crossovers. Plus, we've got a great supply of back-to-school cars just in time for the big day. Don't forget about all of those new 2022 and 2023 units arriving every day as well. So please take that short, money-saving drive down 144th Street or shop online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Allo means business. Allo means local business. Allo means big business. Allo means small business. No matter your business, if you need reliable phone and internet connectivity, you need Allo. Local service and same-day dispatch. Free installation. Symmetrical upload and download speeds. If your business relies on communication, rely on Allo. Allo means business. Visit allofiber.com/business.
Get an immediate look back at the game from the people who know it best. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word live from Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Hear from former players and national champions like Jay Foreman, Rashawn Jackson, and Aaron Davis and see what they saw in that day's game. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word. Live and in person, home or away at Tanner's Bar and Grill, brought to you by Bauer Infrastructure. Only here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A good game with good friends. But isn't it time to up the score when it comes to the food? Wings and Rings is here for every football fan. Catch the game on one of their big screens or snag a tail great pack to go. They're cranking up the heat and throwing in mad flavor this season. Stop by your locally owned Wings and Rings on O Street, Meridian Park, or 48th and Old Cheney in Williamsburg Village, or grab some crave-worthy Wings and Rings to go. Make them your go-to destination to watch your team bring home the win. Wings and Rings. Game time just got better.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary, sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, back here on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Got to be a quick segment.
So unfortunately, we won't be eating.
We won't be eating this segment. We'll eat the next segment. You and Nathan will.
Me and Nate. Nick won't be able to experience the deliciousness that is Sweet Things by Marcy.
I might take one.
You can go take it.
Okay.
Not allowed. Only on air.
Here's a couple good texts, because we got this over the break from a couple people. C-Money said this: how much does it kill the fan base indefinitely if someone else is brought in, forcing Mickey to go elsewhere, and we still lose? Along those lines, unnamed texter asked, watch, if Mickey doesn't quite get it turned around to Trev's liking and some other school gives Mickey a head coaching job and he does a great job, that is going to sting. Along those lines, I think you have to be cautious thinking that way because you don't want to operate in the mindset of what if it works better somewhere else for him rather than here.
Don't operate under the guise of fear.
Yeah, you don't want to do that because like we if you're Nebraska in this situation, and Nebraska, let's say on the off chance Nebraska doesn't get this thing turned around and Mickey Joseph does not end up being the head coach, you do not want to keep, even if it wasn't Mickey Joseph, you do not want to keep any coach here in just solely to keep them here and that they don't have success elsewhere, if that makes sense. You don't want to hurt your program just so they don't go somewhere
so nobody else
they
can
get
happy.
better. Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to hold on to your significant other just because you don't want anybody else to make them happy.
Yeah, so Tyler is confident in saying that he won't be a big-time head coach in another school as well.
Why? Why are you confident in saying that?
He's got a coaching tree. He has a coaching tree as well as lots of connections, and
I don't know. His brothers are
I
pretty good coaches.
believe he also, and maybe this is just because it's two polar opposites. He operates a whole lot different than previous coaches. He operates a whole lot different, and there's a different feeling when you're hearing him talk.
He's got the fire, but it's a controlled fire.
Yeah. And he knows where to channel it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's important. It's not important to channel the fire through the media and through the press conferences. I think that's a key. Nobody, I could care less if a coach comes to the press conference all jacked up and fired up and yelling and screaming and shouting about how good Nebraska football is and how ready they are to play on a Saturday. I don't care. I don't need them to do that when they're going to go out on Saturday and lay an egg.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't mean anything, right? That's been the last 40.5 years. But I would rather instead it be the opposite. Come out in a controlled demeanor, give details, but not too many details if you don't want to, and operate with a purpose and with a sense of direction. And then on Saturdays, prove to us that you are moving in the right direction. I think that's a key. I just think there's a lot to be I think there's a lot to be excited about, but like I said, unfortunately, Nebraska's program is in a weird spot right now where they might need a proven winner, a proven experienced winner to be their next head coach, which that's once again, it's not a knock against Mickey Joseph. That's where I feel bad in a way because there's nothing they can do about it because they've made bad decisions for the last 20 years that have put them in this position. And that's not Mickey Joseph's fault. And heck, that's not even Trev Albert's fault.
No.
But Trev does have to make this next decision with the entirety of the university in mind. And whether or not you can wait 5 or 6 years to get back to a consistent bowl winning program. And it's painful to think about because we would love to have Mickey Joseph here because it'd provide continuity. It'd be an easy transition because you would hope if Nebraska gets this thing turned around and they find wins, you would hope that the entire offensive staff that's here would want to stay around because it was proven successful.
Well, you could look at it this way and say you're either looking for a quick fix, which then leads to continued success. Look, I'm just looking at it like this. If you bring in Urban Meyer, because this is how everybody's looking at it. You bring in Urban Meyer, it maybe there's no guarantee. I don't care what anybody says about him being guaranteed to be a winner here in Nebraska. There's no guarantee that he comes in and turns this around year one. All right, so you're looking at
he's as close to a guarantee as you have.
You're looking at a quick fix, and then he's not going to stay here for more than 5 years, and then whoever he hands the reins off to is able to continue with the success that he builds, that they can build upon whatever he builds. Or you're looking at another, just the way that really everybody does it. Either two other options: somebody who is proven that you can take away from another Power 5 school, and you're hoping that they can continue whatever success they had. Let's look at, a Dave Aranda or a Lance Leipold, although not really proven. He's in his second year at Kansas. Or Matt Campbell with his 500 record at Iowa State. Or you're looking at an up-and-coming coach who maybe is looking to take the reins of a Power 5 gig and run with it, but that's another, maybe not successful right away in year one, especially with what they have coming up on next year's schedule, but maybe later on down the line they could find success because of the program building that they have proven that they are able to do at whatever university they're at, aka a Jamie Chadwell at a Coastal Carolina.
We get this off this video stream right before we get to our final timeout. Female KC Royals fan on YouTube says, I don't think we need a proven winner. That's what we were told Mike Riley was. What I would say to that is Mike Riley was not a proven winner. And if people were telling you that, all you had to do was look at the winning percentage of him in his career, and he was around 500.
As I said,
at Oregon State.
As I've said, Matt Campbell is younger Mike Riley.
Interesting. All right. Let's take a break. When we come back, Nate and Rico will enjoy some Sweet Things by Marcy without me. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, but Rico and Nate will be right back. You're listening to the Happy Hour on 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Bagels & Joe is ready for the fall with pumpkin chocolate chip muffins, pumpkin cream cheese, and a pumpkin pie smoothie. Don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches, and grab a business box of bagels for the work crew. Bagels & Joe with 4 Lincoln locations and a new location in Seward opening soon.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 27th Street.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Bauer Infrastructure is a new name from a well-established brand, and they're paving the way to progress. And they're hiring. Bauer Infrastructure is hiring truck drivers, carpenters, truck mechanics, and equipment operators. And they have industry-leading benefits to maintain a work-life balance. Bauer offers paid time off and paid holidays, a matching 401k plan, medical, dental, vision, life, and disability insurance, a clothing allowance, and more. Start your new career today by applying at BauerInfrastructure.com. There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary, presented by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Nick Sainert is gone because he hates me. So he had to go to class and be a student or whatever. So
I could never hate you.
I'm joined by Nathan Brennan. Nate, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, Rico. It's been a long day already so far, but we're getting through it. I don't know how I feel about the bye week. I'm always very indifferent. Like, I'm excited for Nebraska, but at the same time, I don't really know what to do without Nebraska football. As much as it hurts, I still love it.
Oh,
you know?
So bye weeks are just filled with other football, or in my case, volleyball.
Very true.
So, you got 2 volleyball games on Friday and Saturday, Michigan State, Ohio State. So you can watch those.
Nice.
You can fill your time with every other football game that's not Nebraska. Now you don't have to worry about, like, if Nebraska plays a late game, you worry through all the early and midday games until the game starts. If it's an early game, you watch that one, and then
you're just mad for the rest of the
if they lose, which they have been doing a lot lately, you're just mad for the rest of it. So you can't even enjoy the rest of the day for football. So
it's just tough.
A day without Nebraska football is pretty nice for
it's just
other
tough for me,
reasons.
though, because Virginia Tech plays on Thursday this week.
Mm.
West Virginia, actually, and the line was West Virginia by 3, and now it's West Virginia by 1.
Country Roads.
And it's in Lane Stadium, so we'll probably troll a little bit, play some Take Me Home, Country Roads.
Take Me Home.
To western portion of Virginia.
West Virginia.
Great song. But no, it'll be interesting because without Virginia Tech or Nebraska, I don't know what I'm going to watch. So I don't even know what game day is going. I'll figure out something, but
Kansas
it's just going to
State
be
plays
weird.
Oklahoma.
That game, I think, will be just as bad, if not worse, than Nebraska.
Kansas plays Duke.
I kind of like that.
Both undefeated.
I know. And that's why
Tennessee plays Florida.
The great game. Hendon Hooker, though, just makes me sad. I don't know if I want to watch that because that's just dumpster fire. Does the winner of Kansas Duke get ranked? Maybe.
They should.
I agree.
They should.
If you're 4-0, screw
I
it.
think there's 6 basketball schools that are currently undefeated in football. Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, Syracuse, Indiana, and there's one more.
Somehow.
And I cannot think of who it is.
I don't know. Syracuse might actually be okay. I don't know what Dino Babers is doing, but they might be okay.
Syracuse's running back, after every game,
is a beast.
He posts like
his stats.
He's like,
we won today.
We won today.
Yeah, that's
I
funny.
didn't have the greatest game, or I had a great game.
That guy's awesome.
Like, I'm just like looking at this and I go, I love this.
He's awesome.
I don't know why,
and
but I love it.
he's really good too. He's gonna get drafted. He'll be playing on Sundays.
Okay, but enough of this.
All right.
We are here to eat food. Sweet Things by Marcy. Shout out to Marcy. Made from scratch Southern style desserts. Marcy Haas is the owner. Go to www.sweetthingsbymarcy.com and order today, or sweetthingsbymarcy@gmail.com. Shoot her an email and order yourself some delicious
Have you met
desserts.
Marcy?
I have. She's a wonderful
That's
person.
what I'm saying. I need to meet her and just say thank you.
Wonderful
because
person.
this is incredible that every week we get to try amazing food.
She's amazing. And like I said earlier, a couple weeks ago, she quit her full-time job. She does this full-time.
Yeah.
So hop on the website and order some delicious stuff. Today, we have turtleback cookies, a spice cookie with salted caramel topping, and a caramel cake.
Oh.
So
What do you want to start with?
I don't know. Which one do you have open? You have both of them open?
I had them both open.
Okay,
I'm ready
let's
to
start
go.
with the turtleback cookies. The salted cookie with the spice cookie with salted caramel topping contains flour, sugar. Oh my gosh, I opened that. It smells amazing. Flour, sugar, cinnamon, cardamom.
Cinnamony.
Words are hard. Cardamom, butter, pecans. That's the cookie. The salted caramel topping is brown sugar, butter, and cinnamon. And this is what they look like. Ooh, they're super soft. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
How do I even? Woo!
All right.
Here we go. I show the camera.
Oh my gosh.
There's that turtleback cookie. Look at that, nice.
See, I'm a big fan. These
so
they
soft.
that's the thing. It's so soft it like falls apart in your hand. That's when you know it's a good cookie.
You know what it smells? I don't. Oh, that's delicious. It smells amazing though.
It's very cinnamony. I'm a huge fan of cinnamon.
It's like very cinnamony, but
big
like,
fan of cinnamon.
So the cookie's very cinnamony.
Oh my gosh.
The salted caramel like icing kind of takes a little bit out of the way, gives you the caramel, the salt, the savory portion of that. It's just melting. This is delicious.
That's what I'm saying. It like falls apart in your hand and like melts in your mouth.
The cookie's so thin too. I'm gonna show the camera. Get on the Starter Hammond Jewelers live video stream. You can see how thin this cookie is.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. This is why I'm telling you, Rico, take these back to your family. I can't be around these.
If I give this to my daughter, she won't sleep tonight.
She's sleeping either way.
Not really.
Yeah. See, there you go. Give her a Red Bull and a cookie. See what happens. Be all right.
This is fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, world.
What, she come with 4? Yeah, I can. Just away from me. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. What's the next one?
Unnamed texter says, please keep talking with food in your mouth. It makes for great radio. Thank you. We're trying.
Thank you. We appreciate that. We're trying to make sure to elaborate and let you guys know how great this really is.
And Thomas in Lincoln is saying caramel, not caramel.
Well, I've heard caramel.
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 I think he says, well, it says car, not care. Because if it was care, there'd be C-A-R-E. That says caramel. I'm going to say caramel.
Caramel?
Caramel.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Regardless, it's incredible. And this is what we're eating now.
You know what? You know what I was saying.
That is true.
So take that. Shout out to Marcy for the turtleback cookies. Those were fantastic. And now we got caramel cake. So the cake is made of flour, sugar, egg, milk, butter, baking powder, and vanilla, while the icing is brown sugar, butter, vanilla, heavy cream, and powdered sugar. Nathan, you've got the first bite. What do you think?
The one thing I've noticed with Marcy
is she doesn't miss.
Not only does she not miss, she takes ingredients and like you wouldn't think, like you can taste the brown sugar, you can taste the vanilla. Like I'm not a food connoisseur by any stretch of the imagination. I usually just eat food because I love food. You can actually taste what you're getting, which is something I've always appreciated, Marcy. Like when you say the ingredients, you're like, you know what? I can taste that. And I appreciate it. I should be a food critic. I think what Marcy has taught me is I should take my talents to the Food Network.
I think you'd be terrible.
With my radio background, with my television background, I'm going to the Food Network. I'm going to go to culinary school. How long is culinary school? Is culinary school 2
Probably
years?
longer than you think.
All right, then I'm not going to culinary school. I just got to convince them to know that I know what I'm talking about with food because this is incredible. I'm telling you, you can taste the brown sugar and the vanilla.
The cake.
Oh my god!
I know we say this word a lot, but it's true. The cake is moist. It's very soft. Really,
it's dense.
Yeah.
See, there you go. I'm telling you. Throw me on the Food Network, Rico.
It doesn't fall apart when you dig your fork into it. Stays together. The icing is the perfect amount of icing to cake ratio. I watch Kids Baking Championship. What's good?
See, maybe you should be on the Food Network. Maybe that's what you should do. Train Ellie to be on the Food Network because she's talkative. Does she like food?
Talkative. She loves food.
There you go.
But she loves junk food. Oh, that caramel cake is amazing too. Marcy, don't miss. So I'm gonna tell you guys again.
Oh my gosh.
Go to sweetthingsbymarcy.com. Order yourself some caramel cake. Order yourself some turtleback.
You will not be disappointed.
Order yourself some peach cobbler. Or order yourself everything. Get one of everything.
The peach cobbler is really good.
That was so good.
It was really good.
Get one of everything from sweetthingsbymarcy.com. Shoot her an email.
Tell her we sent you.
sweetthingsbymarcy@gmail.com. Tell her you heard it on the happy hour and you want to order some. I mean, she probably won't give you a discount or anything, but she'll be very happy to hear that this is working, that us eating her food is not just us eating her food. Also, give her a call if you want to, 402-540-6982, and she will pick up, and you can place your order and order yourself some delicious desserts. And Joe texts us. He says, You tell me to go to Farrell's, and then you talk about things to ruin my progress. Get your stuff together, Rico.
I just ate that entire slice of cake, and I'm not apologizing for it either.
Look, Joe, it's not going to ruin your progress. It's
Oh my
just
gosh.
going to make you work that much harder at Farrell's.
That is true.
That's really all it is.
Shout out to Farrell's. Shout out to Sweet Things by Marcy.
It's like a deal.
Mm-hmm.
You eat delicious things, and then you work it off at Farrell's.
It's like I knew a guy that used to go to the gym, and right after he went to the gym, he'd get McDonald's.
Unnamed text says, I don't see any cookies on our website. Shoot her an email. I think she might have a secret menu, or maybe she just hasn't gotten the cookies on there. I don't think she's put the cookies on there yet, but she was telling us about all the cookies that she makes. Shoot her an email. Tell her you heard about the Turtleback cookies on the happy hour on 93.7.
She'll hook you up.
She'll hook you up.
Yep.
But yeah, again, sweetthingsbymarcy.com, all the delicious stuff. Thomas Lincoln says 4 years of culinary school. But thank you all for listening.
Well, maybe not.
Thank you, Marcy,
Thank you
for
Thomas.
the delicious sweet things. Thank you, Mickey Joseph, for having an amazing press conference. Nathan, what's coming up?
We're going to do some NFL top 10. It's going to be me solo for the first hour, so I'm going to go through my top 10. We got Brian Munson. Might do some shootout with Strick, give away some food. We'll have a good show.
All right, it's going to be a blast. Thank you guys for listening to the happy hour. Up next on the block with probably just Nathan. Adios.
Get an immediate look back at the game from the